Hello and welcome once again to yet another episodic addition to the one and only Forgotten Fighting Game Concepts. In this series, I, Smithers, pledge myself to be your guide to as many of the unidealized and or underrepresented fighting game strategies and concepts as I can. In order to do this very thing, revealing the topic in question's definition, general applications, and showcases of the particular concept in a real match shall be within these videos. The aim is to better your very own understanding as to how to best use the mentioned strategies as you see fit. Now, enough with the comforting and algorithm-friendly introduction, and let's get started on today's topic. Today's episode will be going over the mental game. The mental game is commonly defined as the interactions between headspaces of the combatants through manipulation of natural human emotions and instincts to gain an advantage. This results in a sort of push-pull motion, leading to both having to spend energy to make a better decision when uncertainty is afoot. This energy is commonly referred to as one's ego, and I'm not talking about the kind your average Elite Smash player has too much of. Minimizing the spending of this resource is a must for anyone who wants to play at a high level, lest they risk overexerting themselves. When mentally exhausted, one is at risk of losing to even those that may have a worse execution and/or situational awareness. On the other hand, this means that exploiting your opponent's mentality can allow you to win games that you would stand no chance in otherwise. This is especially the case for those playing as characters that have a low margin for error to begin with. The test of stamina can come in many forms, but the most common ways to do so are through area denial, changing up which option you use in mix-up scenarios, or some good old mind games. Touching up on the last mention, toying with the likely fine-tuned ideas of your opponent is also an alleyway to success. However, mind games do require the opponent to be not up to snuff with their own mental game, and thus the utility of such an option falls under the label of a skill check.
Okay, this does not look good here,
In short, mentally draining your opponent while keeping your own headspace in check is a surefire way to gain an advantage that you may not otherwise have. This can make it just as important, if not more important, than some of the surface level skills, with mentality being the source of one's ability to perform what you want when you want it. The rest of this video will focus on the mentally draining your opponent aspect, so as to keep it from getting too long. If you all want to see a video on how to maintain control of your own headspace under pressure, let me know in the comments below. Let's now see how we can use this ego to the fullest in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a fighting game filled to the brim with players with an ego complex. A game filled to the brim with potential for mind games and other ego depletion strategies. Fox is a prime candidate for one that necessitates a level head to both keep the momentum going and to avoid his low margin for error. His high speed in both ground movement and the attacks he has makes it difficult for the opponent to land a hit on him. However, once a slip-up is made, which is an inevitability of the human condition, he is sent into a very risky situation with his low weight, low airspeed, stubby range, and linear recovery possibly leading to his death off of one mistake if they aren't careful. The sheer range of motion that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate allows puts its ego depletion at an all-time high, making the ultimate battle of wits emerge to see who stands taller in the world of heuristics. Well, usually. This leaves area denial only reliably countering itself now, doesn't it? Because analog and digital thinking can work in tandem despite being different methodologies. Oh, but we're getting too ahead of ourselves here. Let's keep it simple for now, and maybe we'll tackle this topic thoroughly another day. Well, here we are again. Guess it's time for me to expose others for being bad, while I inflate my own ego, while simultaneously teaching others how to play the game better. Yeah.
2, 1, go!
Noting from earlier that my opponent decided to shield my shot from earlier, I test my opponent to see they have a tendency to shield, so I can then exploit it for later use with this B-reverse blunderbuss. I then see it works, so I keep a tally of such on my head. I look to see at any tendencies in my opponent's disadvantage to see if there is a problem there. Noting from before, where my opponent shows an aggressive option several times, I wait for them to swing for a punish. A simple test of reform at its finest. Taking what I learned, that they are overly eager to press buttons, I look to force a narrow-minded option to then seal out the exchange with a massive reward. Additional abuse of the self-given tension from my own reform. Frustration is now sinking in, and thus, I know I've already won. Another simple abuse of one being overly eager to land a hit. Remember the shielding panic option from earlier? Time to get a free punish thanks to my opponent respecting an option too much. Classic push-pull motion giving me even more control in the mental game. Recalling the lack of reform under pressure, and not using grabs for some reason, I look to see what my opponent does to see if I can keep the mental leverage I have. They then spot dodge, so it gives me an opportunity to go for another odd yet situationally optimal option. Full hop weak dare. Alright, I think that's enough for me talking about some lame zoner gameplay, despite Hero not being a zoner, to then ask you if you can spot the other instances of me gaining leverage to get away with some dumb options. First to get them all right will get their comment pinned. Last video has yet to claim the promised cookie, so it's still up for grabs. Wait, it's been like a month since then. Bah. Kids these days are all wrapped up in the immediate gratification to see past my, diction. Regardless, thank you for watching. If you found this video here helpful, or have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, do the other clicking of buttons. Have a day.